Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech, but otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet, and today I want to check out Aurora Rodríguez Carballeira. Attempted to create an ideal human, a superhuman, feminist superhuman. I'm sorry, pause. That cat does not want to be there. I mean that is like a whole like I want to hold you cat and I am going to pet you whether you want to be here or not. That cat's like, okay, I'm like a cuddly cat and stuff, but I don't really want to be all cuddly with you. That looks like she's gonna, oh, look at those eyes. I don't know. Anyways, she tried to build a feminist super soldier basically, like ideally, because she was really good at raising kids. And then after a certain time, that chick hit 18 and the woman's like, oh, the world's trying to take you from me, and bam 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 bam, hamburger time. What? So she thought her kid was basically a personal possession of herself, and she was very unrelenting. Let's get into the story. Okay, so she herself was raised by an eccentric upper class father, no formal education, which put a lot of sand in her hoo-ha. So her sister had a kid, and then she had to take off, leaving Aurora in charge of the kid, who became a child prodigy, very successful magician. And then this lady was like, hey, I'm going to have kids, and I'm going to raise to be perfect. So she found a chaplain, a father, something like that. And after 3 terms of coitus, she got pregnant and had this wonderful woman, Hildegart Rodríguez. She's very pretty, I must say. Feminist super soldier, space monkey, just like the rest of us, eh guys? His name was Robert Paulson. One of us. Activist for socialism and the sexual revolution, who was conceived and raised by anti-theist social feminist mother Aurora as a prototype for the woman of the future. She really was a prototype for the woman of the future. I mean, any women of the future, your mother's not going to agree with. That's like, it's the same thing with parenting, like with men. Like, you always want to make children that are exactly like you, but generally they're partially like you and then partially not like you at all. Isn't that the point? Did this person want to create a clone? She didn't have the idea. She didn't understand the feminist idea that your children are not your own. Oh my goodness. So as men are discriminating against women, women are also discriminating against women. They're discriminating against the women that they create because they don't understand the difference between ownership and, okay, not right now, but like I'm clearly seeing this issue within feminist families that I've seen where the feminists think that, I'm not going to say everyone's out to get them, but that disproportionately everything's out to get them. Like, all white men are colonialists who are guilty of slavery. Like, I got told myself that I'm guilty of slavery, and I tell you, my family has freaking never had anything to do with slavery. It just didn't freaking happen, and we can't even enter into that conversation. Man, I got banned on Reddit for suggesting that some of the people that made a lot of money on the slave trade were Africans that, went to other tribes, took people and sold them. It happens. Then I mentioned Brampton. Who's in Brampton raising prices? Who's in Brampton raising prices, and who are they raising the prices on? I'm sorry, I'm just saying, when I see a lot of activists that complain about how hard life is, and then when they themselves get to a place where they are in power, they are equally as evil as the individuals that they were rallying against, just from the other side of the coin. I lament Hildegard. I'm sad that the world lost her, and I wonder what the world would have been like with her. When she was 18 years old and had become internationally renowned, while also seeking personal and political independence from her controlling mother, the latter shot Hildegard to death in her sleep. In her sleep, too. Cold frickin' blood. Bet she didn't even have the courage to make the first shot, the only one she needed. She did it 4 times. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit carried away on here, but you see, why is this tech related? The reason why this is tech related is because society has been propelled by technology to go further and faster in maybe 20 years than it had in perhaps 800. Let's face it, society is growing faster than technology. There was a time when Moore's Law said that about every 12, 18 months technology doubled, but that is no longer happening because we can no longer build components any smaller, because if we build them any smaller, electricity is not going to work predictably with it. Electricity is not going to work predictably. Electricity is not going to work predictably. We can predict so many things. We can't predict electricity? I mean, wow, we're getting to some extremes here. So we can communicate faster than ever before, and we can communicate faster than ever before in echo chambers that are locked out from other people so hard that we don't get to see bad ideas. And then we also lock ourselves in so hard that we create a situation where if we are offended by the possibility of the bad idea that we come to, that we get thrown in prison. So we got a lot of new progressives with a lot of ideas that are supposed to be helping us, accelerated by the technology of the internet. Feminism has never been stronger than it was when the age of the internet started happening. The Me Too movement. Me Too movement is based in Twitter, and you can't tell me that that has not affected me up here in Canada at my villager point. DEI, SJWs, all of these things affect me from the bottom to the top in my techno life, and they are now starting to affect me in my everyday life. So we need to know that these new people that have these great ideas of what they're going to do, they haven't had the time to have their ideas fail yet, and we haven't had the ability to see what their ideas are going to take us to. But I have a feeling that if we listen to everyone all the time, we're going to have a lot more dead daughters. Now, the women would say back in the day, it was always the men. The feminists say, I think it was Margaret Atwood that said, the worst thing a man has to fear is a woman laughing at them, and the worst thing a woman has to fear is a man killing them. Well, right about now, the worst thing I fear is that woman killing her own child. Is that the devouring mother? No, that's not the devouring mother, because the devouring mother loves their children and hurts them by giving them too much good stuff. Okay, now this part really gets me. So she decided to choose a father and then abandon intellectually brilliant man. And no, I don't care who you are. If you're a man and you have a child with a woman who might be a nut job, it is your personal and civic responsibility to make sure that you are there for said child. I don't care what your personal whatevers are. If you have a nut job woman coming up to you and saying, hey, let's have the sexy time so we can make a kid, you have the personal and the civic responsibility to think, should I make a child with a nut job? Legitimately, am I creating something that is going to be put in hell and boiled legitimately? This, I'm not all that religious, but every now and then I hear shit that makes me think there's going to be pearly gates and Saint Paul there to say, did you think this out at all? Nobody's going to put any responsibility on this man. And I definitely think, since he was a intellectually brilliant man of God, he should have been intellectually brilliant enough to keep his daughter from being... I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not sorry. I'm never going to apologize for anybody who hurts their children, even if they're 18. I have a feeling that this 18-year-old never physically lashed out in any way that would make her need to use... Moving on. It's sad. There's not enough information. There's not enough. I feel like we need to reflect on this as internet people and techs, because the progressive medium is definitely focused on the online. The conservative medium likes online for its profitability. But the lefties, when they get online, holy crud! I remember I got online for Yahoo Chat. Nobody cared about anything. But then when progressives get online, oh my god! It just, oh, all the rules come up. But the rules are only supposed to come up when the people on the right get into things. The people on the left are making rules. What the hell is going on? But anyways, this is basically a proto-form of something I'm concerned about. Like, yes, there's good to have progressive ideas. Yes, it's great to have progressive ideas, but we are now in a time when it is impossible for a progressive person to do anything wrong. And I'm telling you, we need to keep our eyes on them and make sure people know that they're not always right all the time. I will never be a friend to the overall LGBTQ, though I am a part of it, until they call this son of a bitch out for the mistakes that he made. Maybe the things that he did not mean to do, but he still did. Actus reus, mens reus, whatever. This guy owes some apologies. The information that he created is still hurting children today, and I really think that you should read into it. John Money, you cannot raise a boy to be a girl. You cannot just surround a boy with girls' things and they will be a girl. That's not how it works. This is how you kill children, and John has killed at least 2 people with it. You had a good idea, Aurora. You should have just let the cat go. You should have just let it go. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. It is absolutely possible for somebody on the left to be a monster. It is absolutely essential that we don't just listen to anything that people on the left say. It is possible for them to be evil, but that's for legitimately about the last 10 years I've been saying this, and I've been having a hard time getting people to listen. For legitimately, everyone thinks that only folks on the right can do evil when it comes to these new minds online. But I have to reflect on this. I legitimately have to, because I think that it's my personal responsibility as someone who spends a lot of time looking at the big freaking picture. The big freaking picture ain't good. Hey guys, if you're on the right, you need to get a freaking heart for humanity and get that little bit of that money to the folks at the bottom, because the Pareto distribution is a real thing. Legitimate, the Pareto distribution is absolutely real. And folks on the left, stop training, stop being so damn hateful against white people. Holy crud. Legitimately, if you think that a black person cannot be racist to an Asian person, you need to check. You need to go back to square one and step from square one. If you think that the dictionary does not define what the word is, but you do, okay, you need to start stepping back into reality. We all need to start stepping back into reality, because, man, my next door neighbor lives in a camper with a little girl, and that's all they can afford. That's never happened on this street before. We need to collectively get together and help, and not just control. And that's what this is about. We need to help and not just control, folks. Anyways, that's it for me. Net from Nestech, but have a good one, and take care of each other, will you please?